Hi everyone, Mr. McNichol here again. Well, I've got a little microphone here and hopefully it's going to help me sound better than last video was. Got a little bit of feedback that I was kind of hard to hear, so I'm hoping this one does the trick, even though I'm going to have my hand in front of my face most of the time. I hope everybody's doing really well, and I'm basically getting to all of your grading and some of your extra credits. I know some people are having challenges with their schedules. Okay, I'm willing to work with people on that. Just be certain that you understand that. Today we're going to be tackling M5, Module 5, and that is basically dealing with what they call coherence. Now, an interesting thing about the human brain, our brains love patterns. We love to see things consistent in some way. We love to see that things fit in a certain way. And that goes true for the paragraphs that we're going to be writing in our argumentative essays. So the big thing today is understanding coherence and making sure we understand that our paragraphs are coherent, that each sentence either supports the topic sentence in the paragraph or it supports a sentence previous in the paragraph which supports the topic sentence of the paragraph. Sounds a little crazy, okay? But this will help a little bit. If you will go to M5, okay, if you're on here now, you could go to M5, and the M5 lesson is on coherence. Now, there's two videos to watch. They're about 5 minutes apiece. I'm not going to just step through each and every one of them, but I am going to look at the three kinds of coherence that we see in paragraphs. I will let you do, there is a practice quiz on coherence, then a real quiz on coherence, and then I'll give you your assignment. Okay? When we meet again on Monday, we'll be talking about, in a group session, what we've learned and doing a coherence paragraph as well. Okay? So let's see how this goes. Now that I'm looking at the slideshow right now, labeled Body Paragraph Coherence. It's in Module 5. It's the M5 lesson, Coherence. Okay? If you want to go there, you can hit pause on me right now and go check that out. Now, when we begin writing, there's a danger that we can let body paragraphs wander around. Okay? A good body paragraph, it's coherent. It stays on topic. Okay? Like that old movie line, stay on target. Okay? Every particular sentence should, in some way, prove our topic sentence or the sentence that comes before it. Okay? So, there is a coherence packet. You can print it out. You can look at it as a digital copy. I like having pages. Shows how old I am, but that's okay. Okay? So, if you'll take a look at the first example on McDonald's. Okay? Well, the topic sentence is McDonald's is very convenient. Since it's a topic sentence, the way we will mark that is we will put a little red letter T in front of the topic sentence. McDonald's is very convenient. Yes, the topic sentence is usually the first one in the paragraph. So, in this one, McDonald's is very convenient, topic sentence. Okay? Now, the next sentence, does that support the topic sentence? The next sentence is, in example number 1, for Americans on a tight budget, McDonald's offers a $1 menu. Is that convenient? Well, it is for me. As I mentioned, we've raised 7 children, so yeah, a $1 menu is very convenient. And so what we would do is we would put that little number 1 in front. Why? Because the McDonald's offers a $1 menu sentence, that supports sentence 1, which is the topic sentence. Okay? So you put it in front of the sentence. Okay? So a number 1 in front of for Americans on a tight budget. What about the next sentence? For those with children, most McDonald's offers a playground. Is that convenient? Those of you with children would say yes. So this also supports sentence number 1. McDonald's is convenient. So you're going to put a number 1 in front of that sentence too. Okay? What about the next sentence? They offer drive-through service. They have over 34,000 restaurants worldwide. Customers enjoy free Wi-Fi. Are all those examples of convenience? If so, we're going to put a number 1 in front of all those sentences because they all support that first sentence which says McDonald's is very convenient. Okay? And then at the very end, the last sentence. For all these reasons, McDonald's offers a convenience that's hard to resist. Well, that doesn't so much support so much as it restates and it encompasses. It involves all of those sentences that came beforehand. So we don't call that. We don't put a number 1 in front of it. We don't put a T in front of it. We put a W in front of it because it's what we call the wrap-up sentence. So once again, for this particular type of pattern, we call it the coordinate pattern. Why? Because we have a topic sentence. Every single one of the middle sentences supports that first topic sentence, so we have a number 1 in front of it, and then at the end we put a W for a wrap-up sentence. So if you look at the coordinate pattern on slide 10 on the M5 lesson Coherence, if we look on slide 10, you see the pattern they have is T, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and a W. They call this a coordinate pattern. Everything supports that first topic sentence. Okay, and there's a little video for you to watch as well. There's another kind, okay, called the subordinate pattern. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so in this case, the topic sentence is English classes are worthwhile. That's your topic sentence. Well, let's look at the next sentence. They teach the dialect of English that is standard in business settings. Is that worthwhile? Well, my son who's taking business in college would say yes. So, since that supports the first sentence, we put a number 1. Well, what about the next one? With the knowledge of standard English, students can sound professional in both speech and writing. Well, that's good, but you know what? This particular one talks about professionalism and standard English. Both of those were talked about in the second sentence. Dialect of English, standard in business settings. So since the third sentence actually does more to support that second sentence, we put a number 2 in front of the third sentence. And so on. You'll see as you go forward, each sentence in the paragraph does not directly support the topic sentence. Each sentence in example number 2 supports the sentence right in front of it. And so instead of saying T 11111, where everything is supporting that first sentence, instead we're going T 1 2 3 4 5 or 1 2 3 4. Okay? Because each sentence supports the one that came right before it. And we still have a wrap-up. Therefore, it's important for students to take their English classes seriously. And that's how we move forward with that. Okay? So, this is what they call a subordinate pattern because each sentence is subordinate, or it pumps up, it supports the one in front of it, okay? Rather than directly supporting the concept that's spoken of in the first sentence. Okay? Now, the third kind of sentence the third kind of paragraph pattern we're talking about next is one that's a little confusing. Okay? Take a look at example 3 on slide 1. You can look at the video examples too of patterns and so forth and exceptions to those patterns. We won't go into that in the lecture here right yet. Okay? But what we are going to do, we'll take a look at the third example, and they call it a mixed pattern. Now, in a mixed pattern, okay, sometimes sentences will support ones that came before, or ones that came 2 sentences back, or 3 sentences back, or the original. They won't support one that is coming up They won't support one in front. It doesn't predict the future. That's one of the things they mention. So when they talk about, for example, example number 3, the topic, and it starts on slide 23, the topic is people should become vegetarians. Vegetarianism decreases the consumption of fossil fuels. Okay, well, that first one, that second sentence, does support the topic sentence, so we could put a 1. They have a little shorthand there too. You can use a letter P if it just is supporting the one that came before. Saves a bit of time. Okay? Vegetarianism decreases the consumption of fossil fuels. That supports the topic sentence that came before, so it's 1 or P. But the next sentence, for example, it takes 78 calories of fossil fuel to produce 1 calorie of beef protein, 35 for 1 calorie of pork, 22 for 1 calorie of poultry, but just 1 calorie of fossil fuel for 1 calorie of soybeans. Now, that third sentence does not necessarily say you should become vegetarians, but it does talk about how it decreases consumption of fossil fuels. So that has a 2/P. It supports the one that came before it. Okay? But then you jump down a little bit, there's another sentence. Vegetarianism helps conserve water. Well, that supports the first one. It doesn't have anything to do with fossil fuels, but it is a reason you should be vegetarian. So they put a 1 in front of that. Okay. And the next one, it takes 3 to 15 times as much water to produce animal protein as it does plant protein. Well, that supports the fourth sentence or the previous one, 4/P. This goes all the way down. Okay. Sometimes these sentences will support the first sentence, and sometimes they'll support other earlier sentences. We call it mixed if they skip around like this. But remember, even in a mixed pattern, you won't have sentence 4 supporting sentence 6. You cannot go forward with it. Only backwards. Okay? And there still has to be a wrap-up sentence at the end. In this case, the wrap-up sentence is, due to all these benefits, everyone should stop eating meat. Okay? So they have various forms of pattern here. They can be very challenging. Okay? Well, why do we care so much about these patterns? Why bother marking them? Well, once again, our brains as human beings like patterns. If you have a pattern in your argument, you are more likely going to be able to convince your readers that your point or your view or whatever you're trying to argue should be believed, that they should believe you and they should adopt your position. If you have a pattern, they're going to be more likely to be receptive to that. Okay? Now, here's the problem. When we aren't using patterns, or sometimes we can end up using a sentence that is not a topic sentence, it doesn't support any of the previous sentences, and it doesn't wrap up the paragraph. What do we call that then? Well, we say at that point that it is irrelevant. If you spot one of those in your assignment, put an X beside it. Okay? We'll take a look at that. You should delete it. Actually, if you're going through your own work and you realize this sentence is not a topic, it does not support any previous sentence, and it doesn't wrap up the paragraph. So, that's when you erase it. Okay? So a sentence is irrelevant if it wanders off topic, if it doesn't have to do with anything of the previous sentences. It's redundant if it repeats information, and it is contradictory if it undermines the topic. Okay? So, for example, if I want to, example number 4, it's on slide 32. Okay? As with any sport that's watched or played, football has its fair share of penalties. That's a good topic sentence. It's clear, it's concise, it could be debated. Okay? But then, the next sentence says, to help keep the game safe, there are officials who wear black and white striped shirts. Well, referees do call penalties, but they have nothing to do with this sentence has nothing to do with the topic sentence. The topic sentence is not about keeping the game safe. The topic sentence is not about how we can tell the referees from the players. The topic sentence is just about how many penalties or what kind of penalties are present in a football game. Okay? So, to help keep the game safe, you put an X in front of that sentence and you delete it. And all the other sentences in there are part of a mixed kind of coherent pattern. Okay? So, it can be okay for you to have no pattern. It's going to be harder for readers to follow you, and essentially they won't feel your paragraph is very well organized. If you're dealing with an audience that likes that or doesn't have an issue with that, that's fine. However, having any kind of statements that are irrelevant, redundant, or contradictory, they're unacceptable. Okay? Wow. And by the way, if you read that paragraph, this is noted. There is a problem. The writer names only 4 penalties. So when they make a claim earlier there are 11 or more penalties, they did not actually support fully their piece. They did not support their topic piece. Okay? So, what do you do if you see a topic that restates the topic but it's not the wrap-up? That's how you tell if something is redundant. Okay? Or if it's a sentence that restates a previous sentence that's not the topic, that is redundant. Redundant is a fancy way of saying it's not needed. Okay? If you tell me that football has a lot of penalties and later on say in the same way football has many, many penalties, that's redundant. Okay? It basically, if you repeat something that went before and it's not the wrap-up, you can get rid of it. Okay? Now the last one of the last things we're going to be looking at in this short lecture will be bad topic sentences. What if your first sentence is not a good topic sentence? Well, a topic sentence is good. Recall what needs to be in place. Okay? If you want a good topic sentence, okay, you want something that is going to be, again, debatable, but at the same time, it is concise. It does do one, and it has only one particular claim. Okay, so one example they give is on slide 1 of example number 6. This is slide 42 of the big lesson. Okay, guns are a major cause of death, but the people who buy them are responsible for what happens to them once they are out of the store. Now, as the instructor who put this together says, that paragraph's a real mess. Okay? If you want to look at that topic sentence, the first problem is it makes not one claim, but 2. Okay? Do we want to make the point that guns are a major cause of death, or people are responsible for guns once they're out of the store? You got to pick one or the other. So every topic sentence has to have just one claim. Okay? That's a big problem. Okay? You can see the other issues with it as you go further. Okay? Next one. Okay? Well, let's say you skip ahead to slide 48 on the lesson, and they call it example 7, slide 1. The lobby will be to the right as you walk in. The front desk will be open 24 hours. The lobby will also have an open floor plan, and it will have flowers on the inside and on the outside. Okay. Well, first look for the topic. If the sentence does not make one claim, that's not the topic. And when you're doing your work, if you look and you see that they don't make a claim in that first sentence, you give that first sentence an X. Okay? Keep going until you can find a claim. Well, the problem is, with the sentence, with the paragraph rather, that's on slide 48, example 7, slide 1, every single one of those pieces is just a fact. It's not a claim. Okay? So every sentence there, if that were given to you and say, find the claim, put an X in front of it, if it's not the claim of the topic sentence, every single one of them would get an X. Okay? They don't work. So, once again, a coherent body paragraph has to begin with a good topic sentence. It supports all of its claims with facts. It does not contain anything irrelevant or redundant. And you've got a pattern to it, one that's coordinate or subordinate or mixed. I hope this works well. Basically, as happened last time, there will be an assignment. First, you would take the M5 practice quiz, then take the M5 quiz on coherence. And then there'll be a practice piece there for you to basically mark it up and show me the pattern that's there. Okay? If it's a good topic sentence, bad topic sentence. Good topic sentence, put a T. Bad topic sentence, put an X, and all the rest. Thank you so much, folks. Hope this is working for you. I would value any feedback that anybody could give me. I hope this was easier to hear, even if my eyesight wasn't always on the camera as what I like it to be. And I apologize, too, if I've done all this a lot. I don't know if it's allergies or what, but my eyes and ears are itching like crazy. You folks have a wonderful day, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again on Monday. Bye-bye.